Yo, the second story I'm about to tell you is from the second book of the Bible, Exodus. It's about how Moses came to be, how he met God and freed his people from slavery. But first of all, let me introduce you to the crews. We've got Egyptians and another called Hebrews. The Hebrews descend from the first men who God spoke to. Check this out, my people. Yo! First of all, I'll introduce you to the crews. Got Egyptians and another called Hebrews. They descend from the first men who God spoke to. The Egyptians were ruling, but the methods were cruel. Since God had whipped the slave, they continued to prove that they're the dominant race in numbers, so might rule. So the king got paranoid and killed every male youth. In his elderly age, he watched the numbers reduce. Since God's chosen people descend from Hebrews,
they can't go extinct, God uses them to speak through.
So was born Moses in a basket shipped to anybody in the hope that he's not to be doomed. God put him in the hands of the king daughter, who is a real godly woman, and correctly assumed that he had been sent from these frightened Hebrews. God affectionate and raised him as part of her crew. Fast forward, he's a young man just making small moves. Had his eye on an Egyptian who had powers abuse him, but instead of reporting, no, that won't do a thing.
Dragged him to the side and began to devour him.
When the king found out, he put out a hit on him. Then Moses discovered and escaped to Midian, where met some woman and ended up protecting them. And when the father discovered, he opened up his house for him. This how Moses started off before he met God. He found a safe place where he just shepherded in the flock. Right, the father daughter who gave him his first son, but his people still in bondage, wonder if he forgot. This how Moses started off before he met God. He found a safe place where he just shepherded in the flock. Right, the father daughter who gave him his first son, but his people still in bondage, wonder if he forgot. Many years passed by until the king deceased. Moses went through a mountain on his daily routine. He then passed by a fire to which he was intrigued, since the bush it tried burning inside didn't decrease. But upon investigating, found out it's holy, cause from it came a voice that began to speak with him, ordered to remove the sandals from both his feet. Then
told him it's the same God for father spoke with.
So Moses leaned in and began to listen. It seems God wants him to confront the Egyptians, tell them God has sent you to have the slave released. But Moses said that the job is way too scary, so God gave him power to perform miraculously,
turning water into blood and even curing leprosy.
When he threw it on the floor, it then became a sneaky beast. But Moses still showed fear and reluctancy, so God allowed to take his brother with him. He complained he couldn't speak well, but brother speaks need. Was told to tell the elders before they go leave.
Since Moses still resisted, God got so angry.
Once they got the elders' blessing, he then took his family. But God showed anger again on the journey, which reminded him to respect the laws he received. So the circumcised his son, his right did that quickly. So now they want the way to challenge the new king. Gonna work for 3 days off to perform sacrifice. Now already warned that this king won't allow it, then God will show his wrath, cause he's the Almighty. So now they want the way to challenge the new king. Gonna work for 3 days off to perform sacrifice. Now already warned that this king won't allow it, then God will show his wrath, cause he's the Almighty. So they said to the king, you need to let my people go, cause God has spoken to us and soon you're gonna know. If you don't give time off, these plagues are gonna show that the God wants his people where the milk and honey flow. But as predicted, got mad and said no, and just for asking increased their workload. So the slaves went to Moses and they screamed insults. Then Moses asked God,
why you send me to these people?
He said, never forget, I made a covenant with your ancestors, so I'm gonna show Egypt justice. They went back and showed the snake that's from a stick, but the king got his sisters who know about black magic, so they did the same thing and watched snakes start battling. And when he saw Lot, the king got more angry. So now the time for 10 plagues to release. First the Nile turned to blood so no one could drink it. Then the frogs entered everywhere in the city. 2 types of flies covered those who support the king. Then the animal died and the people got sick.
Then a hailstorm fell and plants ate by locusts.
But before the last plague, which should have warned him, for 3 days the land turned to total darkness. So the king tried to strike a deal with Moses, but he wasn't budging, so was ordered to leave. So God killed every firstborn in Egypt. Now Pharaoh's fell deep, not only Hebrews let free, but they took many valuables for the journey. Now Moses got nearly 2 million to lead. This should be grateful that God showed his mercy, but part 2 will show this starts a journey which proves humanity needs to be led, if not by slavery, then by worshipping Jesus.